A lot of these so-called players used to be good men. A lot of these guys that get called womanizer, and people are like, oh man, they're this and that, and a lot of females might even call them F boys, and we know all the euphemisms and all the cute little names they get called, because it's like damned if you do and damned if you don't. If you don't get any chicks, you're called an incel. If you get a whole bunch, you're called some F boy and all of that. So, that's besides the point here. But I'm going to get into it. This is Tarek Talks, and you guys are listening to a midnight podcast. I haven't done these in a minute, and I love doing these. And I love talking about topics like this because this is something that we see all the time. We see these guys that were former nice guys, whatever you want to call them. We're guys that were good dudes that generally were trying to do the right thing, generally had a good heart and good intentions. And then all of a sudden they're looking around and they're like, what the hell? This is crazy. This is madness. I'm over here doing what I'm supposed to do, supposedly. And all of these chicks, a lot of these chicks that grew up without positive male role models, and all they had to, look for was, or look forward to, or look up to was dysfunction and all of that stuff. And then, they get online and give their little sob story. Oh, all my boyfriends were abusive and all of them were narcissists. We all see this. You see these memes on Instagram, and it's like when you're healing from a narcissistic boyfriend and all that bullshit. Okay. And a lot of people might be like, dang, Tarek, that's kind of harsh. That's not nice of you to say, and all that other stuff. But the thing about it is, you got to call a spade a spade. These chicks voluntarily chose these guys. Okay. These chicks voluntarily chose these guys. And it's like, where the hell does the accountability, which is something that is badly needed nowadays, where does the accountability come in? Because there were guys that the chicks themselves were even like, man, it could have been a guy that they were really good friends with. It could have been a guy that is in their friend circle that they always, quote unquote, talk to for advice. And the thing about it is, a lot of these chicks that have a lot of male friends, they have low self-esteem. Okay. One thing about it, they need constant male validation. So don't let a chick fool you and tell you, oh, I like to hang out with guys more, less drama. We've all heard that. We've all we've all heard that, less drama. I've heard this myself. I personally literally heard a chick use that whole excuse as to why she has a gang of male friends. But of course, they're not going to tell the truth and come out and say, hey, look, these guys are just guys who give me validation and make me feel good about myself. But these guys are the same guys that these chicks will say, oh, you're a real good guy, and I wish I had somebody like you. And it's complete and utter madness. They'll say shit like that. I wish I had a guy like you. I wish I could meet a guy like you. And the guy's like, I am a guy like me. What the hell are you talking about? But these are the type of guys who quickly find out that they're being used as some sort of validation machine. They're used as some sort of utility to get some kind of attention or validation. And these guys constantly, they're like, hey, let's hang out, or let's get to know each other, or hey, look, obviously the guy wants something romantic, but he's always getting played. The chick is always talking about, oh yeah, I'm just not ready yet, kind of stringing him along. And what happens is these guys get strung along. These guys get strung along, and this is where the whole villain arc comes into play. They get strung along because these chicks they know that this guy is looking for something romantic. And instead of letting him know that they're not into him romantically, what they do is they tell him some shit like, I'm not ready yet. She's not ready yet, but come to find out, this same guy, he finds out that she's messing with some bum, with some loser. And the dude, it just messes him up. It just messes him up because this whole time he's thinking he's getting some traction. He's thinking he's getting somewhere. He's thinking he's like, okay, maybe if I just prove myself, maybe if I just stick around and show her. And quick caveat, yeah, it is the guy's fault too. It is the guy's fault too. He does have something to he has a part in this because he should know better. He should know better. It's common sense that when someone keeps dragging you along, keeps stringing you along, keeps giving you these little breadcrumbs, that they're just not into you. Because think about this. If you were into a chick and she was into you, you wouldn't be dragging her along. You wouldn't be like, oh yeah, maybe later. Oh yeah, maybe I'm not ready yet. You'd be like, oh shit, okay. Hey, look, yeah, I'm interested too. What's up? Let's make this work. So, this kind of happens to the guy. And as he gets older, he sees other things too. He sees a lot of things that kind of disturb him. You see, he realizes that these chicks are talking to multiple guys at once. He realizes that these chicks are just straight up stone cold freaks. Straight up. They're just stone cold, just out here in the streets getting plowed by different guys doing different types of experiences. Let's call it that. But I want to sit here and act like, oh, I'm not this type and I'm not that type. And then the guy's like, but wait, I know you doing this. So, at that point, it's like, this is where the villain arc comes in. He's like, you know what? Nah, fool me once, shame on me. Or fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me, is what I meant to say. So he starts taking accountability. He's like, you know what? I was being naive. I was being stupid. I was being wet behind the ears. And now I'm gonna start turning up. I'm gonna turn up on these hoes. So bam, starts hitting the gym, starts learning about, hey, look, this is what's attractive. This is what's physically attractive. Starts being a little less gentleman-like, starts being a little more short with a lot of chicks that he's with, meaning if she's not on board with his program, then he's on to the next one. And usually how this happens is that he starts cutting chicks off super quick. So if the chick is showing any signs of her, oh yeah, I'm not ready, or let's take things slow, and he knows that what that means. He knows that what it means is she's not romantically interested. She's not sexually attracted, and she's trying to stretch this stuff out so she can gain some kind of resource from him. And he's like, nope, next. Never hits her back up again, and starts talking to another chick if he hasn't already. Because a lot of these guys, they pick up on the woman's game, right? They pick up that she has a quote unquote rotation of dudes. And a lot of these guys, they start having rotations of females in a sense that, hey, look, he's going to start talking to somebody, if not at the same time as other chicks, right? And with dating apps and all that good stuff, this happens even quicker. This happens even faster. So he has no problem with telling a chick, nah, I'm straight, and going to the next one. And guess what? That next one, because he's worked on himself, because he's been hitting the gym, because he is getting more into fitness, or getting more into fitness and fashion. Now he's dressing a little more provocatively. Now he's dressing a little more hip, a little more, and he learned. He learned through his experiences, he learned through his failures with women how to talk to them. He learned how to talk. He learned how to flirt. He learned how to kind of tease them a little bit. He learned some of these quote unquote F-boy tactics like, teasing, flirting, kind of making fun of the chick, because this is what chicks, guys, this is what chicks find sexually attractive when they're talking to a guy. Not the guy that's super, oh my, my darling, what can I do for you and stuff like that. Nah, what they find sexually attractive is the guy that's kind of, pickup artist. I don't really agree with everything pickup artists say, because they feel like you can magically spit game, quote unquote, and a chick is just gonna pull her panties off regardless of how you look and all that. But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about how, you kind of joke with the chick and she's like, you're an asshole, or oh my God. And, and deep down inside, she likes that. She likes that. So he learns how to do that. And then bam, all of a sudden he's smashing these chicks on the first night, getting played from these chicks while simultaneously talking to other chicks. And now all of a sudden he's called an F-boy. This is not, now all of a sudden he gets that label. All of a sudden it goes from, let's take things slow and maybe we can just start off kind of slow and see where it goes, to why can't you call me back no more? And are you with some other hoe right now? He sees the dynamic flip, and it's messed up because now he kind of gets more resentful, because he's like, dang, this is what females like. This is what they like, guys that are pieces of shit. And he gets kind of even more like, I guess this is what dudes in the red pill will call red pill rage or something like that. When they finally will see how things really are, and they're like, dang, I thought these chicks were good and pure and all that, but come to find out, they're really not, But, this is usually how it happens. So I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. I'm out. Peace.